Now, the reports into state capture are painting a striking picture of state-sponsored corruption. While the reports recommend criminal investigations into some politicians, ultimately police investigators will have to do that legwork. But as elected members of Parliament, our MPs are also called to account. So let's find out what Parliament is going to do about members implicated in state capture. We're joined now by Parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Mutapo. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. And we're of course all still reeling about the tragic news that former Johannesburg Mayor Mpho Moerane died just before 6 o'clock this evening.
Yeah, no, sadly, we join the rest of South Africans really in expressing and extending our heartfelt condolences to the Moerane family. The presiding officers are still in shock, obviously. It is a very distressing occurrence, really, what is happening in the city of Johannesburg. This is a third mayor who has, a former mayor who has passed away. And our hearts really goes out to the family, to the children and his political home, the African National Congress. I mean, as Parliament, we have worked closely with him during the time that he was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, particularly through the National Council of Provinces programs such as taking, Parliament to the people, Provincial Week, and through the intergovernmental, programs that we conduct with SALGA as well as the rest of various spheres of our government. And he was instrumental, in ensuring that appropriate services, are delivered, appropriate systems are put in place where there are, concerns of the public. Those are really addressed, and we will really, salute him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone is very much still reeling as the news has only just broken about an hour ago now that he in fact passed on. And thank you for those condolences. Let's talk now about the work of Parliament, because state capture, the reports are coming in. And Parliament is going to respond and engage. We know, of course, as well that we're likely to see investigative probes, possible criminal action. Talk to me about the parliamentary process. Where does it start?
Yeah, well, there will be various ways that Parliament will deal with the State Capture Commission report. And of course, firstly, there is about 2 parts of the report that have been submitted to Parliament by the President of the Republic. Those are Part 3 and Part 4, and both of them relate to the conduct of members of Parliament. So in that regard, and particularly with regard to the first report that was submitted by the President, Part 3, the presiding officers have already referred those individuals that are fingered in the report for having violated the ethics code to the ethics committee. So the ethics committee is dealing with that particular issue. With the receipt yesterday of Part 4, it will follow the same process as well. That is one way of dealing with it. But another way of dealing with this report is to ensure that, and Parliament has already started with putting the appropriate mechanism. The Research and Development Department of Parliament is busy putting in place the systems, the development of a program of action that will ensure that where Parliament is found to have not acted properly with regard to the state capture and has not fulfilled appropriately its constitutional role, corrective measures are put in place. So that is one way, another way of dealing with it. But also, once the President, because it is, as we have indicated, the President will submit the final report together with a program of action that the executive will follow to implement the remedial actions from those reports. So once those are submitted towards the end of the year, Parliament will also ensure that it actually conducts its oversight over the implementation process by the executive.
All right, so I'm understanding you correctly that not only are you looking at implicated members of Parliament, you're also looking at how Parliament perhaps failed or definitely failed in certain aspects. Very quickly, are you able to tell us how many MPs you've got listed that have to go through this process through the Ethics Committee now?
There are, well, it's a public information because those MPs' names are published in both the Part 3 as well as the Part 4 that has since now been submitted to Parliament. We have, the presiding officers have referred the names that are in, and this relates to only serving members of Parliament because the code cannot apply to members who are no longer, rather to former members of Parliament. So with regard to that Part 3, their names, as I've said, they've already been referred. And we are looking now at the Part 4 of the report that has been submitted yesterday, and we will also refer those names. So I cannot give the exact name at this, the exact number at this stage.
All right, but clearly what you're saying is that you're going through those reports as they come through to you, and serving members of Parliament where there's a question mark, it's going to go through the process of the Executive Ethics Committee. Parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Motapa, thank you so much for your time this evening. We've got your